The most common first step when creating a new project in EasyMorph is to load in data from one or more files. EasyMorph supports a wide range of file types, including delimited files such as CSVs and tab-separated files, Excel spreadsheets, Apache Parquet files, JSON and XML files, and many more. A full list of supported file types is available in the EasyMorph help or tutorials at easymorph.com. There are multiple ways to load data files into EasyMorph, the simplest of which is to drag the file from Windows File Explorer to the project workspace. EasyMorph will attempt to identify the file type and what settings should be used to load the file. If the settings aren't quite correct, they can be amended as normal in the Action Settings bar on the left-hand side of the screen. The settings available are dependent upon the file type and so will vary depending on the type of file you are trying to load. Alternatively, we can also load a file by clicking on Add Data, Import File, and selecting the option that is relevant to the file type you want to load. In the dialog window that appears, navigate to the file, select it, and click on Open. As when dragging files to EasyMorph, it will attempt to identify the correct settings, which can be changed if needed. Using the preview panel can be helpful to see the contents of the file as well as immediately seeing the effect of changing any of the action settings. To access the preview panel, click on Show Preview at the top right of the Action Settings bar. The top half of the preview panel shows the data as it exists within the file. The bottom half shows the data as it will appear in EasyMorph if loaded using the current settings. Changing any setting will immediately update the preview. This can be extremely helpful and time-saving when working with unusual formats or imperfect files. The preview panel can be hidden again by clicking on Hide Preview. As well as loading one file at a time, it is also possible to load multiple files of the same format simultaneously. As before, you can select multiple files in Windows File Explorer and drag them to the project workspace. EasyMorph will attempt to detect the format and required settings and will append the contents of the files into a single table. Again, the settings can be adjusted in the Action Settings bar if needed. Alternatively, we can also load multiple files by clicking on Add Data, Import Multiple Files, and selecting the option that is relevant to the file type you want to load. Unlike when loading a single file, we have a lot more options available to identify the files we wish to load. Firstly, we must specify the path to the folder containing the files. We then have two modes for selecting the files. In Select mode, we can pick the files listed by ticking the checkboxes next to them and then clicking on OK. In Search mode, we can specify a search pattern which EasyMorph will use to identify which files to load. There are three types of filters to choose from. Plain text will match all files that contain the provided string and optional file extension. Note that this matching is not case sensitive. Wildcard allows us to match file names using one or more asterisk as wildcard. Again, this matching is not case sensitive. And finally, regular expression allows you to match file names based on complex regular expressions. Whichever search method chosen, EasyMorph shows us the files which match the defined search string and thus will be loaded. It is important to note that whichever method being used to load multiple files, EasyMorph will not prevent you from selecting files of different formats. This can cause unexpected behavior as the same settings will be applied to all of the files when loading. You're now ready to begin exploring and transforming your data.